All right. Hashtag BGP mail satchel time. Let's dive right in here. Um, let's start from the top here. This is from Reynolds Seaton. This isn't really, I don't know. Yeah, this is relevant. Reynolds, by the way, I know he's won a cookie. He won a cookie last year. Um, does Coastal bring Jamie Chadwell back if he gets fired from Liberty? I think this is just piling on the misery that Coastal and Liberty are experiencing, but how kind of apropos it is that Jamie Chadwell basically built a team and had a year that got him like triple, quadruple his pay, and now things ain't so hot in Lynchburg, Charles.
It'd be interesting to see what Liberty does there, because I don't think they've really fired a coach since they've been in FBS, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. I'd have to go look. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but the way this carousel is going, who knows where it ends, right? Who's going to get thrown off the merry-go-round? I think there's a lot more people who will be. So this portal era and this NIL era is going to chew people up a lot faster than they used to be chewed, and we certainly have seen that already. So, but I don't think they hire. I don't think anybody's going back to the well if it comes.
Yeah, I mean, the guy like Chadwell too. I mean, you got to think you've already made like good money. He's already gotten guaranteed like really, really good money. I think he makes $5 million a year at Liberty. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But if you sign a $25 million contract and your job's gotten harder, every job's gotten harder. Every G5 job's gotten impossibly harder. Are you wanting to put up with all that again for a quarter of what you were making? I don't know. Interesting to think about.
Well, yeah, a lot of coaches can be saying the same thing. Like, do you want to be, sellers, or do you want to be coaches? Does that make sense? Like a salesman? Like, do you want to be able to recruit people from all over the place and just put together the best team based off money, or do you love it for the do you love the coach because of the true love of the game, that why you got into it in the first place?
Yeah, it's actually very interesting how some coaches I think have landed where they ultimately just enjoy the profession more. Kane Womack, left South Alabama to go be a defensive coordinator. So basically, he's like, I'll go make more money and have less responsibility. And then Sean Elliott, like, ultimately got his dream job back, where he's back at South Carolina with his family, coaching offensive line again.
Right.
So, he left the cesspool and the madness of Georgia State, and I mean, I don't know. That's like probably the best case scenario for him, because he didn't have to deal with any of that crap, and he's doing what he wants to do anyway. For those that don't know, Sean Elliott went back to the tight ends coach at South Carolina, and now they fired their offensive line coach, and now he's the offensive line coach again. So, Parker Hockey. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, Parker. Charles, do you have a fried chicken recipe that you prefer over another?
Like one that I personally make? I'm going to say I'm going to assume that. So you can't do it without a buttermilk bath, right? Or if you don't do buttermilk, you can also do scrambled eggs. Like you just whip some eggs up, you do an egg wash, or why not do both and then dredge them in a batter. My preference is House Autry seafood batter, or they have a chicken batter and they have others. And then just make sure you have some really hot oil.
Does it matter what oil?
Yeah, peanut oil has a higher smoke point, so that's it gives you that real flavor that you want versus something that's like lightly fried. I think especially when you're frying dark meat, like you really want something that's like dense.
Yeah. What?
AJ's like, I can't believe he knows this much about this.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not surprised in the least about any of this. Do you ever make fried chicken at a tailgate?
Yeah, we did. We used to a lot.
Just not anymore. It's just too much of a hassle.
It is a lot of work,
Yep.
and you got fresh egg wash out there. You got your hands all nasty. You're supposed to keep one wet, one dry. It's hard. Turns into a mess. But yeah, it happens. But I don't do it like I used to because it's like fried chicken. That's you can get that anywhere. So just looking for some new challenges after all these years.
Love it. You need to make me some at some point. Okay, here's from AppFan24. This is a hypothetical. Let's say your oldest daughter, sweet daughter,
Oh God,
comes up to you
at
age 17 and says, "Dad, there's a very specific engineering program that is available at Georgia Southern. I really want to pursue it." What do you respond with, Charles? What do you say?
I would say something like, "Can you repeat that, but don't."
Is that it? Can you repeat that in the
I don't know.
over?
I think everybody's heard what I've said about this. Like, you want to pay for your college, go wherever you want. You want me to pay for it, you can go to App State.
Okay. What if it was East Tennessee? Get that in-state tuition.
I don't know. I mean, if it was engineering or if it was something specific that
if there was if there's a reason for it, like
they have a good nursing program over there.
Yeah.
So I think they have put out good teachers too. That's what she wants to do.
But it's not Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I mean, like we can't have a situation where there's a game and she's like staying at the house and she's wearing those colors. That's going to be a problem.
See, I think I actually think this is reasonable. Honestly, like unless your kid's if your kid's an athlete and like they have like a handful of offers, it's like, where am I going to go? I understand that. Or I mean, you can maybe apply the same logic to like scholarships.
Yeah,
but you don't want to write off like too large of a thing. But I think if you're a student and you're like, hey, they have something, it's like, look, I understand you like it, but you're just going to find something else if you want to pay for it.
Free college is free college. I think, I'll probably think about that very differently in 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So, when I'm saving six figures, then, it might be a little bit different.
Yeah, that's true. From Brad Manning, our defense is in the top 10 of rushing yards allowed per game. Is that the cause or result of our passing defense being in the bottom 10%? I'm going to hang up and listen. And then also, I'm going to pair this with another question. This is from BP 07 near. Apps wins this year are against some of the worst teams. This is from the CBS Top 130. UNCC is 131. Lindenwood is not ranked. Oregon State is 109. Georgia State is 130. The remaining games on our schedule are JMU's at 53. ODU is at 62. Marshall 98. Georgia Southern 112. Coastal 120. Arkansas State 124. There's some dogs. So I pair those together because I think they overlap a little bit, because I think our numbers are aided by who we've played. And I don't necessarily think that the lack of our passing defense or effectiveness on passing is because of our effectiveness on running. I think we have a defense that's better at stopping the run than we are at stopping the pass, because I think maybe our personnel is better at stopping the run. Charles, what do you think?
There's a little bit to that, but when you win 4 games, at some point you're going to end up defending more pass, right, in the fourth quarter. So we've seen that a little bit. We saw that, especially with Georgia State, especially with Oregon State. I do find this funny. Did you say that UNC Charlotte is ranked 131 in the CBS Top 130? Okay. So they're not even on the chart. That's great.
They're doing great.
And somehow Lindenwood didn't find a number.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. What will we see? I mean, if we have a game where all of a sudden it's like this team ran on us, like Coastal is built for that, but they're built for it in a different way than like a traditional offense would be built to like run the ball. They're gonna like get you with like nickel and diming, and they're not gonna slice your finger off. They're gonna like give you paper cuts. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
they're just trying to get 10 yards in 4 downs, and that is the simple way of the sport. But if they could do that by running the ball for 2 yards, 5 yards, and 4 yards, and they can get that every time, they're going to continue doing it until you stop them. But they're not, 100%, like they're not exactly efficient doing it. That's just what they do. I think it's because they're not built really to pass the ball. 2 QB system, but I think there is a little bit about, are we stronger up front? Sure, I think that's. There's a reason DJ Smith is here is because we couldn't stop it last year, right? And it was the only way you're going to keep yourself in the game, or way to keep yourself in the game, is to stop the run. If all they can do is hand the ball off and create holes and run over you, that's the easy way to win in football, right? But when you throw the ball, only 3 things can happen. 1 is good, 2 are bad.
Yeah.
So I think it's really simplified. I don't think there's any like crazy analytical process to kind of all that.
I think it's also just harder to defend the pass. Just football wise. I mean, playing defensive back. I mean, I think the position of quarterback is the hardest position in football. You can make an argument it's the hardest position in sports just because what you're processing, and you're like the guy that gets the ball every time and whatever. But defensive backs have to react, and they have to be quick and fast. Like there's no such thing as like, yeah, he's not fast, but he's strong, at corner. You got to be fast and quick and all this other stuff. So I just think it's hard to be, have a great DB group, which is, why, like, looking back at our first 5 or 6 years in FBS, how crazy it was, how many great DBs we had.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think this is a larger question. We have another question about, so Walter Johnson asks, is there anything you saw from the Georgia State game that may be a problem for us against Coastal? Things we got away with versus areas we didn't look very strong. We covered a little bit of this in the post game, but now we've had more time away from the game. I absolutely think that we just need to like keep it real and understand that we have not played good teams. The good teams we've played, we have not looked good. We've looked bad. One, I think we looked bad mostly because of the way we played, being Southern Miss. And one, we played a really good team. They made us look really, really bad. We just didn't look like we belonged on the field with them. But the ones that we've won, I just listed it: Charlotte, Lindenwood, Oregon State, Georgia State. Those are all really bad teams. Then in Lindenwood is in a different category. I understand that. David Jackson will have a fit if I call Lindenwood bad. So shout out DJ, but they're bad teams. Like, what's the combined record of all those teams? Like 2-20.
You don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean they're really bad. And so, do I like being 4-2? Yes. Am I happy we're like knocking on the door of bowl eligibility? Yeah. But the flip side to this is like, what can we be better at? What can we improve on? To Walter's question, do what you can control. We have the schedule we have. We had those 4 teams that we beat. They were on our schedule. We beat them. That's what you're supposed to do. There have been games where we've had better teams that I think the 2020 team had better players on it, and Georgia State almost beat us, where that game probably shouldn't have been as close, but it was. So I don't want to say, yeah, we beat Georgia State 41-20, but we didn't beat them bad enough, and therefore because they're bad, we're not as good. I don't know if I want to play that game. I want to take the improvement as I see it. Obviously, I would still like to see more effectiveness at offensive line. Maybe get healthier there. I still think that Poindexter is, I think, our starting right tackle. I still don't think he's back. I know Jaden Ramsey's been playing dinged up. But I think that what we've been asking for, Charles, is like, take care of the ball, don't turn it over, play good defense, and let's just do that. And I feel like are we there? Did we do that the last couple of weeks? Is take care of the ball, play good defense, just don't give it back?
I mean, that helps, right? Like, I think it can be simplified. And just because we can't control 8 of the teams we play every
Right.
year, and we can't control when our schedule breaks down like it did, and we have to have some of these games. I mean, in the real world, we shouldn't be playing like Oregon State at home. We should probably be playing them on the road, and we should probably lose that game. But things happen. Um, I think there's also something to be said about the way this team is playing now in the last 2 weeks versus a month ago, because it's not the same team. They've had the time to play together, and it's not just practice. It's not just spring ball. Like, are they getting better? They should be, right?
I think
But we
clearly,
can't.
yeah.
But we can't control those 6 teams that are in the
No.
Sun Belt East. We are going to play them every year, and we're going to get 2 wild cards from the other side every 2 years. And it just so happens that one of them is playing tonight on a Tuesday, and they're 2-4, right? And they're not very good, and they're below expectations. And the other one, it happened to have a great coach get hired away from the conference champion winner and bring a bunch of players over from that team. And that's not something that we're used to having happen either.
Yeah.
So, we can't control that. Like, whoever's in front of us is in front of us. And this week we have to worry about Coastal Carolina at homecoming, and most importantly at home. So that's what we can do. I don't care if that 5 and when the bowls come out and they select teams, you know what they're selecting based off? Like, did you win 6 games?
Yeah.
Are you going to bring a crowd? Is your fans going to travel?
Yeah.
We don't care, right? And after you miss a year, do we care?
Yeah.
Are we going to get choosy about which bowl game we go to?
You better not.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting. I mean, you mentioned this in the post game. We've really, this kind of been a theme, like, especially after we got a full month under our belt. It does feel like the all Sunbelt top players, second, third, first team players leave, and the league's not as strong. Turnovers a killer, and we have benefited so far from playing teams that have allowed us to take advantage of turnover and volatility. And the other point, I mean, you just said we're not the same team or whatever. We have a new starting quarterback, the last 2 weeks. I mean, that's huge.
Right.
We have cycled in. I think Coach Smith has done a good job rotating in different players on defense. And DeBinion and our offensive line have remained pretty consistent. But then you have Dozier come in, and he's a new element that wasn't there last month. And Isaiah Cummings kind of has a coming out party. He's been pretty consistent, but
he reemerged. I mean, he had,
yeah.
like that's whether you're healthy or not, certainly plays into this. But also having 93 years of NFL coaching experience makes you realize that you can't just give the ball to the same people every week.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's move on here. Bulldog 4. If 7 is available but not 100%, do we rest him given the upcoming schedule next several weeks?
No.
I think that you just got to win. You got to figure out what, like, I think this, like, I think part of why I enjoyed seeing Noah Gillen in the game so much on Saturday was because that was basically, we have won. Game's not over, but it's over. I like that. I don't want to play games before the game is decided.
Right. You can't do it. He
He
can play or he can't. And that goes for anybody.
Yeah. If Rashad DeBinion can play, but he's at 80%, he needs to play. He needs to go in there and get it done. Hold the ball. Don't turn it over. Don't fumble it. But he needs to do it. We need to win. We need boot on the throat. I do like it when Coach Logan says stuff like that. Like, boot on the throat, learn to win, put him away. Absolutely. That's the way DJ Smith coaches too, like his defense. Like, they don't let up in the fourth quarter. Like, they don't. They are relentless. So I think what happened on Saturday is what I would like to happen again. You put DeBinion in there, we keep cruising, stacking up the score, and then you take him out. Right? But let's take care of that first.
And stack up the score is important. This Coastal team does not play well from behind. So that's what we've done the last 2 weeks. We've been up 17-0 on both of our opponents. So we need to have something very similar to that. This is not a team that can play from behind in Coastal Carolina.
I kind of like this from Bruce Payne. Based on the over 19,000 in attendance in the ATLLLLLLLLLLLL, does that mean that we should expect an attendance in Boone this Saturday of 180,000? The math seems to correlate.
I
Approximately
think
six times.
yeah, they punched that extra number in there somewhere. I'm not going to tell you which one it was, but it's probably the 9.
Yeah, there's someone got fat fingered for sure on that one. But math seems to correlate approximately 6 times actual attendance. That's kind of a dig at Charlie Cobb. I'll write down Bruce for that.
Yeah, I like it.
I'll put it on there as a candidate. They'll probably win it just because Charlie Cobb getting made fun of and is anyway. I like that. Thomas Cook, do they still have Blue Deer cookie ice cream sandwiches in the stadium? Can we get them on the east side? Now, last year they had them like if you walked in the east gate, you turn immediately to your right. They had them in those coolers. That's a good question. I don't know if they're still there. Austin, I'm sure will text me at some point on Wednesday and say yes they are or no they're not, and we can pass that along. But that's where they have been traditionally. Let's see here. Jason Hutchins, Coastal Kentucky Beach Chickens defense has given up 1,100 yards rushing and 1,300 passing. Who has a bigger game, R-Dub or an App State tight end that continues to not be covered? Yeah, Charles, what do you think? Their defense is clearly not good. What do you think?
I looked at I just looked at a bunch of box scores, and like in those losses, those big three teams that they lost to like badly, they were outgained tremendously. Like it was bad. Like Virginia had like 619 yards. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But then in a couple others, they were just like not as bad, but they were still outgained like by a lot. But I think it gets balanced out because they played like Charleston Southern and South Alabama, who is probably underachieving quite significantly this year, and that just weren't. And Monroe is not like head and shoulder like. So I don't think you can look and say like these are their numbers and this is the story. It's more of like, can they get into their flow? Can they do that? Can they dictate the pace of the game, or does the other team, does their opponent dictate the pace? And then it unfolds from there. Like if I don't think there's like just some like magic recipe for how to beat Coastal. It's literally just you can do a lot of good things, and you got to hope that you do enough of those good things that it gets to the right spot. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be like you can make good cookies with this stuff, and you make good cookies with that, and it doesn't matter how we get there, but we got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah,
like what to put in for whatever is thrown in front of us.
What has definitely worked and continues to work is scoring first, scoring fast. You got to do that. I mean, that's ideal, of course, but that's the recipe. We have actually a couple emails here I want to touch on, and then we'll jump into Facebook here in a second. We're not going to get to everything on Twitter. Cody Hamby, wow, and Charles just totally dropped out here. Who knows what happened? But maybe he'll pop back in a second. But I just saw the corner of my eye that he went away. But this is while I wait for Charles to maybe pop back in. Maybe he will. And my phone's dying, so him trying to get in touch with me. This will be fun. This asks a question about the East Tower. Here, let's see if Charles is back.
I have no idea what happened.
Oh, the wheel is spinning, folks. Is he coming back? I can't hear him. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out together on this audio journey. It's the Boone Internet. I'm telling you, it's peak week. Anyway, I'm gonna read this anyway, and he can catch up if he can hear me. Advanced planning phase was approved for the East Side Tower construction. Personally, I'm excited for this from a fan experience, additional seating, revenue perspective, and recruiting from a revenue perspective and recruiting standpoint. Seems like a great opportunity to name it after Sean Clark. What's your take? And do you think the East Side stands will be reconstructed to match the layout of the West Side? Okay, so I guess Charles can hear me, but I can't hear him. Here, hold on one second. Yeah, this is interesting, folks. So I just got a text from Charles. He says, I can hear you, but all I see And if people go on our YouTube channel, they can see it. He's just sitting there spinning. The wheel is just spinning. So I don't know what we're going to do. Maybe we need to stop this and try it again.
So I
I
think
got another text message that says, "Hold up, I'll answer." So
it's either going to
you
work
heard me
or it
read the
doesn't.
question,
I guess
but
we'll find out.
maybe he'll type me a text message to read everybody. I'm not going to do that. I'm just kidding. If you're listening to this, I'm not going to do that. There was actually another question that Cody wrote here. I'm going to touch on this too. Just go ahead and get it out of the way while we're waiting. Part 2, video camera equipment on the west home side press box on TV. It looks like it hasn't been upgraded since we last won the Battle of the Old Mountain Jug in 2013. A lot of comments from Beaver fans as well as Mountaineer fans on the lack of definition and graininess, blown out highlight, dark contrast on the broadcast feed. Let's see. He's still not there. It's kind of funny. Do you all notice this as well? Some of the broadcast angles, such as on the field cameras, are sharper. Can y'all get in someone's ear to have that upgraded? I'll speak to that real quick. When the Sun Belt has makes these deals with ESPN, and they say, hey, you'll be on ESPN Plus and you'll get these distributions from ESPN. It's actually up to the school to upgrade that equipment, to maintain it, and to produce the broadcast entirely. And so that's why some schools do a better job than we do, and we do a better job than some other schools. And so broadcast cameras are not cheap. They're very, very expensive. And so if you're looking to make upgrades to anything on the ESPN Plus side, that's an expense on Appalachian State. And I'm not saying they shouldn't make it. I'm just saying if you say, hey, we need a couple new $20,000 cameras up there, I don't think that's a small ask. And I do think, just a side note, I do think that at the end of the day, from an administrative standpoint, like, is this $20,000 for this upgraded camera? Is that the best use of $20,000? If people are going to still tune in, they're going to still watch on ESPN Plus anyway. Not saying they shouldn't do it, but that might be a mentality. So, folks, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to actually end this stream. I'll just have to edit this after the fact, which is fine. Just so we can get Charles back in here. We already took down part of that question, but we'll get it back here and finish the Satchel here in a second.